Man, welcome back to another episode of the Think Successfully Room. This is a platform where we talk about artificial intelligence. I am your host, QB So Effing Amazing. This is Tiffany Ingram. And if you're not thinking about what's coming next, you're already behind, you motherfuckers. Tiff, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's Monday.
Yeah. Just something about Mondays where you trying to wake up. You trying to wake up and trying to I don't know, it's something about the Mondays though where you just feel like, okay, something is kind of off, at least for me. But by the time the middle of the week get here, you know what I'm saying, you snap back. But no, I think as I was saying, a lot of conversations we have, I feel, are interesting conversations, and this one is in particular is about Meta reducing or cutting 10% of its workforce. Right. And a lot of people may be thinking, like, why are they cutting 10% of its workforce? Now, first, I want to throw in the fact that Microsoft had a first-time buyout, offered a first-time buyout I believe, 7% of their workers. Right. Yeah. And then right after that, Meta made the decision to cut 10% of their workers. Right. So, in my opinion, I don't think this is just a temporary thing, right? There's a shift that's happening, right? So what Meta is doing is, it's like, look, if we could cut 10% of our workforce, right, that will free up money, and that will free up capital to be able to invest into AI infrastructure, whether that's data centers or whatever the case may be, in order for us to compete against other tech giants like OpenAI, maybe even Google, and they realize that this is a move that has to be made, and that they have to make in order for them to compete in this AI race. So what's your, you know, as far as Meta cutting 10% of their workforce, what's your thoughts on this too?
So, okay, just for level setting, when we first started, when we hopped on, and you asked me, hey, were you able to kind of look into this? I was like, this in my backyard. And what I mean by that, like, so I've been in human resources, just for your audience, just to kind of level set and let them know who I am. Even though I specialize in AI implementation and change management, I've worked in human resources for over a decade and a half. And I've seen this time and time again. So let's be clear, companies have been laying off people since the beginning of time. If they can't meet their financial goals, their last resort is going to be, hey, we're going to have a reduction in force. We're going to lay off X amount of people. So again, we can have that money either saved or, again, padded to go do other things, other initiatives. Now with this particular one, though, you're right. AI is being used or framed or blamed to say, hey, you know what, companies are cutting their workforce by 10%. So 10% for Meta is like, what, 8,000 jobs?
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to cut our workforce so we can reallocate these funds. We've been talking about, 2 years ago? We said, hey, learn how AI is going to impact your personal life, your professional life, your children's lives, right? Fast forward, now we're in 2026, and now we're seeing it. And you're right, this is a shift. There is a workforce redesign. I read an article, probably not the same article this morning, where it talked about Microsoft and Microsoft's chief financial officers just saying, hey, we're now building leaner teams so we can be more agile to be able to, again, adjust or pivot to this current climate. And so you pair that, a leaner team, with AI, we're no longer choosing to move a big ship like the Titanic. Now it's a little tugboat where, again, they're able to, a little yacht, speed yacht, they're able to adjust and reconfigure. So this hasn't been the first. This won't be the last. I mean, several months ago, Oracle sent 30,000 people, I believe, an email just saying, hey, we no longer need your services. Don't even come into work today. And so I think AI is like with anything else, it's speeding up this whole layoff situation, and it's going to force us to learn a different skill set. And
Absolutely.
so I think that's the biggest piece. It's redesigning how we do work, and it's doing it at a fast rate. So um yeah, this thing, it's something that you said. One thing I want to call out, and then I'll turn it over to you.
Hmm.
When you said Microsoft, this is their first time doing a voluntary buyout. So I want to make sure your listeners understand there's two ways that you can lose your job, right? You can either, it's involuntary where they just tell you, hey, your services are no longer needed, turn in your keys and your badge today,
Hmm.
or a voluntary where you have a pool of people that you figure, hey, are near or close to, I wouldn't even say retirement age, that you predict that they would accept the buyout and take it, right? So it doesn't necessarily, I remember when I was actually instrumental in doing one of them, we had a certain amount of people that we knew wanted to retire. And the only thing they needed was a certain amount of money to kind of pad or cushion them until they can get on to Medicare or whatever the case may be. So a voluntary is somebody saying, hey, you know what? I no longer want to work here. What you're offering is better than me staying. So I elect to leave. When that happens, it's on a happy note. But what a lot of organizations don't account for, you have all this knowledge walking out the door. So
Yeah.
who's going to train your AI models? Who's going to train the people? You may have had one person doing one job, but now you find out you need four people doing that job. So I just wanted to call out that.
You wanna you wanna know what's scary about that? I'm a because you said who is going to train the AI models, right?
Mhm,
So let's say the workers, because I think they're set to go through with this. I believe May 20th. Don't quote
mhm,
me on that date. I think it was May 20th though. So what they're doing is employee monitoring,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
So that's that's the thing. It's like, okay, so if all this knowledge is going out the door,
mhm,
who's going to train these AI models? But what they're currently doing is they're monitoring their employees as of now. So they call it model capability initiative, I believe. So
mhm,
the AI is able to track employees' activity as far as like keystrokes, mouse movements, and that alone is what's going to train these AI agents. So by the time the workers do leave, now the AI is trained to do
mhm,
exactly what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you are training the AI models without even realizing it. Um, yeah, and as we said a long time ago, Tiff, that this was something we should have knew was gonna happen. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Because AI has been growing since then.
mhm,
Especially with Meta. Meta was more so about VR, metaverse, and things like
mhm,
that. So they realized, like, look, that's not the move right now. So
mhm,
I'm almost willing to take a guess or make an assumption like a lot of employees in that division is probably going to lose jobs as well, simply because the metaverse they're shifting from that to more so about exactly what OpenAI and Google was going for in order for them to compete. So, man, Tiff, as far as like I guess the workers that's on the verge of losing their jobs. I know we done
mhm.
talked about it, but what's the main thing that you feel they should have been looking forward to or being prepared for before this move was even made?
Just learning how AI is going to disrupt your industry, right? And
Mm,
that's still a matter of fact. Like you need to understand how it's going to show up, how it's going to change things, and how you can position yourself as an authority or a need to have employee within that organization or any organization. It's really about making yourself more marketable, understanding the skill set, like kind of prefacing or forecasting, hey, here's a skill set that I'm going to need in order to be marketable no matter where I go. And
mhm.
I've always utilized that philosophy, um, because as things change, we have to change. Because if you don't, then again, you're at a disadvantage, and I'll put it that way. And so I think going back to something you said, just because a individual works in a particular division, if they hold a certain skill set, that can be used in another part of that organization, and they can do it better than somebody that's, like, say, the lowest performer in that department. So say they go from virtual reality to, I don't know, AI support. I don't know. I'm just making up something.
Mm-hmm.
And they hold a skill set and they're more proficient than someone that's already in that particular role. They can be removed and replace that person. So it's really, you're at a race right now. You need to understand, if the market that you're in now isn't the market that you want to be in, you need to start studying and understanding how AI is showing up. Kids that are going to college, they need some sort of AI class or AI introduction to understand how, again, in the next 4 years, how is AI going to continue to change the landscape of where they're going, the industry or the profession that they're going into work. And
Yeah.
so, now is the time, right? Because you never know. You never know when you go, when or if you're in that position and now you're playing defense instead of offense. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, go ahead. Because
And then
I
I was
was going to
gonna
say something, but go ahead.
And then now it's at a point to where a lot of people is just in the workplace, and they're very on edge, right? They're trying to
Hmm.
they're trying to they're trying to do the best they can do. They're trying to make sure that they're on point with everything because they don't want to be one of the ones that get cut. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, it's 10% that's getting cut, but some people is going to be able to keep their job. I
Hmm.
forgot the term or the idea that they called this. I was trying to search for it, but imagine having 300 people, or
Hmm.
8,000, 9,000 workers, and you cut everybody and work your way down to 50. So now you have a smaller team with the help of AI, and
Hmm.
now y'all able to get the same amount done.
Hmm.
That you were able to get done with an entire team of 9,000 people. Um, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Tiff. I don't know if you heard something called the big lie theory. Now this is just a theory that the community was talking about. So it is some people that think that the big tech companies are falsely attributing job cuts to AI driven automation when they are actually outsourcing jobs formerly held by Americans to workers in Asia and Africa to cut costs. What's your thoughts on that? Do you feel like that could be possible?
I think it could be. I mean,
Mm,
I think it's a mixture, right?
mm,
Organizations are going to do what they need to do in order to be profitable and
yeah,
be more competitive. AI allows you to be a lot faster.
yeah,
Hiring someone overseas, you can do it at a cheaper cost,
right,
right?
right.
Any business person that wants to remain in business is going to look for ways to, again, be more competitive and increase their revenue, right? So I think those are things that have already been in play before AI. And I've always, like, any platform that I get on, I try to make sure that people understand AI just didn't wake up on its own and say, oh, okay, let me enter into this organization
Hmm.
and have them cut 8,000 jobs. That's a leadership decision.
Facts.
Leaders are making the choice to say, hey, either I want to reinvest in my people, or okay, I want to reinvest in my people and help them leverage
Hmm.
AI and still be competitive, or I just want to completely cut the role, cut the head count, and
Hmm.
invest all of this money into AI and the again, get the perks that come along with that. But
Hmm.
what organizations are not realizing is that they are they are weakening their succession pipeline, right? So we all know a junior person comes into the organization, they do the entry level role, they learn, they get promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. You're creating that legacy within your organization so you can ensure it can continue. With such a lean team, right? And you're offsetting or augmenting and saying, hey, I'm going to have a computer do this. How are you building that in your organization?
Hmm.
And as AI changes, right? What if all of a sudden one day, because I'm even thinking about this in my company, I don't want my company to rely too much on AI, because what if one day it becomes inaccessible to me? Maybe I can't afford it. Maybe the price is too high, right? I can't afford another utility bill, AI usage. So is that going to destroy my business because half of my employees are human and half of my employees are, well, because when we think about AI agents, right? Half of my employees are AI and I can no longer afford to access that. So companies really need to think about this. What is your succession planning? What is your legacy going to look like? And are you putting too much weight on just AI running a portion of your business, right? I talked to a CEO. He said, hey, I want to be able to be out on the beach and AI run my company. And that scared me because I said, well, what if something happens? You know, I've seen cases where AI has made the decision to delete all of an organization's customer history because it ran into a problem.
Damn.
So it erased everything because it was an agent, and instead of saying, hey, human, I need your help, it was resourceful and it did the thing that it thought was best. It erased everything and started from scratch, right? So we have to be...
That remind me of not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But that remind me of a book that I had read on, it was an audio book on artificial intelligence. And I can't remember the exact story, but I did. Okay. So it was an AI or a robot that was designed. So I guess the woman, her work schedule was hectic, and she needed someone to just be there to feed her child or whatever. And I guess it was a robot that was designed to make sure her kids was fed, make sure the kids was taken care of, right? So the robot was designed like if the child is hungry, okay, the robot know like, look, it's time to feed the child. Now, it really wasn't told exactly how to feed the child. It just said, look, I gotta feed the kid. So I guess apparently there was nothing to eat in the house, or it couldn't find anything to identify as food.
Okay.
But it was a cat running around.
Lord.
It skinned that motherfucking cat. It skipped that motherfucking cat and tried to feed the cat to the baby. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't know. It could not distinguish what was right to give it and what wasn't right to give it. It was just, I just gotta feed the, you know what I'm saying? So that remind me of when you said that when you put an artificial intelligence in complete control and there's no human oversight, things like that can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a situation where you put too much trust in the AI and the AI has completely eliminated your customer history. You know what I'm saying? So you can't even strategically run your business for real because your customer history is gone. And then when we compare that situation to what I just said about it just knew to feed the child. You ain't say exactly how to feed it. Look, it ain't no food in the house. It couldn't find nothing as food. But it was a cat running around like, oh shit, let me skin that cat and then I can feed that. So yeah, that's a dangerous thing. And no, that's definitely something to point out. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to really compare the company for real, because Meta, as we mentioned, is trying to compete with other AI giants, and other AI giants are investing billions.
And they're doing the same thing.
Monthly.
They're doing the same thing.
Yeah. And I'm not really sure, which business is doing better than others, but that's something to think about for real. Are you willing to invest billions every single month trying to keep up with the AI race, and then and at the same time eliminate your workforce or 10% of your workforce, or is that just a gamble you willing to take? So, nah, that's definitely something to look into too.
There was something else that you said too. You said, the Meta's employees are being monitored. So AI is learning. I read an article, it was last week, that talked about how a lot of Gen Z, they're aware of this, or people just didn't. They put the title of Gen Z, but I think all employees that understand this concept of hey, my job is being reviewed by AI. I don't know if it's going to take it. I'm going to train it the wrong way on purpose, right?
Mm.
It's because we're impacting, if we go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, my very
That's
basic
fire.
needs, you're impacting it. My financial well being, I don't know. I don't feel there's a lot of anxiety around AI, and it has nothing to do with AI, really. It has
Mhm.
to do with how leaders or just well leadership within organization, how they're handling it and introducing it into a company, right? um because I've seen where businesses, you're walking on eggshells, you're like you say, you're trying to do everything perfectly because you don't know if you can be next. Now
Mhm.
imagine on the flip side, you walk into an organization that says, hey, this is a tool because we want you guys to be faster at your jobs. We want you to be more equipped. We're using AI to create, you talked about, well, we talked about a couple weeks ago, the school, right?
Yeah.
Creating, specialized learning plans for children. They're doing that in the workforce too.
Mhm.
LinkedIn, based upon your job, can refer different classes or courses you should take to help you build skills. So if you compare and contrast, if I work for an organization that had they're upfront with me, they're telling me how AI is going to be used. They're also telling me, hey, as roles become available, we may not fill them because we may find a way to again supplement it with AI. Tell me the truth up front and let me again navigate through that. But if I can see how it's going to help me, I may be more inclined to work alongside it versus working against it.
Yeah, I think the alpha school discussion we had, that was an eye opener. If that's
Hmm.
not a if that's not an eye opener, I don't know what is. They clearly see what's coming, and they trying to equip the kids early so that they can begin utilizing AI to create something of their own. And unfortunately, as adults, we just haven't caught on to that yet, and now we're in a position to where our jobs are on the line, and possibly being replaced by AI. It was a magazine that I got a couple years ago out of Barnes and Nobles. A
Hmm.
little quick read, as far as how to use AI to write, how to use AI to be creative. It also talked about how to use AI to build systems, and it was
Hmm.
one thing. It was one thing in there that stuck out the most. And I think at the beginning of the magazine, it said, like, look, I don't believe AI has a mission to just eliminate jobs. It was never, it,
No.
it doesn't have a mission to eliminate your job, but it's kind of one of them things where it would just happen naturally if you don't learn how to utilize it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because you mentioned that AI isn't the problem. It's just you have a lot of people in charge that's making the
Hmm.
decisions to replace you with AI. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what that magazine talked about 2, 3 years ago. Is that it was just by nature that is going to replace you if you don't learn how to utilize it. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with job cuts by Amazon and Microsoft, even Meta. They're prioritizing AI infrastructure over human labor, and that's something to be concerned about.
Yeah. And it's literally, again, you have to take, not when I say you, like for instance, me,
Mm,
right? I remember during COVID, um, my leader at the time said, "Hey, we're gonna have to cut you. We're gonna have to cut um your hours or whatever because you can't come in the office. If the employees aren't here, then what's the need for you to be here? Or why should we have to find ways to save money." So you know what I did, Q? I said, okay, I'm not going on unemployment. That's not going to be an option. What can I do that can still help employees from home? And around that time, it was hard for you to get in touch with someone at the unemployment office,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
Guess what I would do? I may be say you work for the organization I work for, you contacted me, hey, Tiffany, I'm trying to get in contact with the unemployment office. You know what I did? I redialed that number. I had you on three-way. I redialed that number. It may have took me 3 hours to get you connected with somebody, but guess what? that was worth me staying full time because we were helping our employees get to a live person and establish their unemployment their unemployment claims. People will
Mm-hmm.
call me on the weekends on my phone. Like, Tiffany, can I get an appointment with you on Monday? And that's how I was able to still stay on full time, still work from my house. Even if I had to call, I could spend 4 hours on with one employee.
Yeah.
But what I was doing, it it weighed, it made sense. It made a difference. I have a master's degree. What am I sitting here on the phone dialing the phone for you? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do this yourself. But I found a way to be resourceful, and that's what people have to do. You can't wait for these leaders
Thanks.
to tell you how AI is going to, you know, how 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 AI is going to be used towards you. You need to be in a position to tell them, I understand you're seeing it this way, but this is how me and the AI can help the organization get to its goals. So you need to understand what the business strategy is. What are they trying to do? Where's the gap? And can you fill in that gap? That's the
Mm-hmm.
key. How can you fill in the gap? How can you make sure that they're not the next company or organization we Google? Because again, the AI has erased all of their customer history, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could formulate some sort with AI, you can formulate some strategy that says, hey, I can be the human in the loop because I understand it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the ball is definitely in your court, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of we should have. Like Tiff was pretty much saying. It's just a matter of like how can you utilize AI to your benefit. You know, it's always been about that. And you know, and now that we're seeing it, you know, like we said, this is a shift that's happening. It's not temporary. You know,
Mm-mm.
every company is moving towards this. So now, you know, and we not trying to make this just about meta,
No,
you know, XAI, Open
no.
AI, Google, whoever, you know what I'm saying? This is for the average worker as well, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? People that's not in that sector. This is also something to worry about. You know what I'm saying? How long is it gonna take before your job figure out a way to use AI to replace your register, you know, your grocery store gig, or,
Mhm.
you
We
know,
see that.
we see it
Yeah.
now, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they got robots in you know in the works to stock the shelves for them. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? These are things we have to worry about, and now is the time to understand or figure out how to use AI to your benefit, create systems, and really create something of your own so that it doesn't
Mhm.
catch you off guard. And yeah, I think, Tiff, is there anything else you want to add on this subject?
I would just say, like you said, the time is now. Learn how, and even if it's not in something that you're doing currently, right? Maybe it's something that you've always wanted to get into. There are people making a lot of money with using AI. They're looking up, let's say your business had a website queue. They're
Mm,
looking to see if your business has a website. If you don't have a website, okay, they're using AI to create a sample prototype website, giving you a call that says, hey, Q, I see that Q's production is listed. You have amazing reviews. Imagine what that could be if you had a website like X. They pull up the demo website that they've created with using AI through a skill called vibe coding. They put
mm,
in 2 sentences, create you a website, and charge you $500 to $1,000 for this. And it probably took them a matter of maybe an hour. I
great.
know people that are making money. So you have to start thinking about, even if it's okay, it's totally separate from your role, how can you leverage AI to create another source of income for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's what we want to end on this note, y'all. As you utilizing AI to its benefit, and I'm gonna quote this again: AI never had a it never had a goal to eliminate jobs. It's just going to be it's just going to happen by way of nature. You know what I'm saying? So it's either you use it or you don't. You know, you be stuck in a situation, a tough situation, just out of nowhere, you know. So, um, yeah, y'all. So make sure you follow myself. Make sure you follow Tiff. Description. IG links are in the description. We are now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple iPods. So if you're not someone that likes to look at the video, put us in your ear. That's just as good. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, so that you can be notified on future content. As long as we see the support, y'all, we're going to continue to keep going, giving you this knowledge, giving you this information, keeping you updated inside of the AI world, so that you can see what's coming before it catches you off guard. So without that being said, y'all, life is good. Life is wonderful. Be blessed to be alive. Self-sufficiency is how you survive. To the kings and queens, to the guys and goddess, forever and always. Think successfully. It's excellent.